Hello, I'm John Reisman, and this is Centrist News and Perspectives, where we focus on evidence, reason, and logic, and we try to put together the picture from a lot of disparate pieces of information to paint a more clear picture of what's actually going on. Now, this has to be done through evidence and time. For example, I want to talk about Brexit. Now, this is going on in the UK, and it's been going on for some years now, even from before the election of Donald Trump. But this also has the hallmark of Putin's fingerprint. Vladimir Putin has been trying to cause levels of disruption in democracies all around the world because he knows that keeps them distracted from actually defending their own countries and developing their own economies in a reasonable or healthy manner. So the problem is this. Nigel Farage met with Julian Assange. Well, Nigel Farage is supporting Brexit, along with Theresa May and Boris Johnson and many others that preceded in the initial Brexit moves. And it was very much a populist movement. And populism is a way of exacerbating fear in a population so that it votes in a certain direction. It's not really very smart to do populist votes, but that's what politicians do, or at least many do. And really they shouldn't, because populism is a dangerous thing. It leads towards fascism. And fascism really doesn't serve us well, because those are the techniques of Hitler and Stalin and you would say Duterte and Donald Trump, for example. But if you think about like Mussolini, the devastation that comes to a country or countries in the exacerbation of fascism, about one country claiming to be better than everybody else, that can be somewhat dangerous, because extreme nationalism really creates more and more tension, even to the point of countries fighting each other for supremacy. And that's not economically good, that's not socially good, that's, getting shot at generally is considered not healthy. Getting killed is even less healthy than that, so yeah, not a good thing. But let's take a look at what's going on. So here's the thing. Farage is meeting Assange, okay? Assange is also, in a sophist manner, indicated that he's very supportive of Vladimir Putin. He was also indicated in supporting Donald Trump and his presidency, while Vladimir Putin was doing the obstruction or involvement, if you will, in the 2016 election, and trying to hide what he was doing. So we have to be more careful about how we assess all these different connections. So Assange is connected to Putin. Putin's connected to Trump in the 2016 campaign. But what's interesting here is this all ties back to Ukraine. We know that Russia wants to expand and get Ukraine back. We have the problem at Crimea, which is why Russia was kicked out of the G8, which is now the G7. And now Donald wants them back in, which indicates that he's, of course, colluding with a foreign government, which is not what he's supposed to do as the President of the United States, as outlined in the Federalist Papers by Alexander Hamilton, Day and Madison. So we have a lot of issues going on around this, and it's always so complex. But the reality is it's really simple. Donald Trump is clearly being influenced indirectly or directly by foreign powers, foreign influences. And that's not the role of the President of the United States. He's supposed to be fighting for America. Now, here's the real problem. He says he's fighting for America. Donald Trump, make America great again. But that's not what he's doing. He's doing the exact opposite. He's making us weaker on a daily basis. So we have to be very careful how we look at all these different issues. To think, there are a lot of people being misled, and the term gaslighting has been bandied about a lot because it comes from a movie, I think it was in the 1940s, where someone was gaslighting his wife and convincing her that reality wasn't real by changing the conditions of what was going on around her and trying to get her to believe fake news all the time.
I can't stand it, my mind.
Oh, you're not going out of your mind, Mrs. Mellon. You're slowly and methodically being driven out of your mind. Why? Because quite by accident you got into his identity, and that made you dangerous to him.
Who was Louis Bauer?
There's no such person as Louis Bauer.
Just a name on an old envelope.
There was never even an envelope! That was the beginning of your madness.
If I do the things you say, then I am going mad. Why did you ever marry me, Paul? I never wanted to come here. Yet it was my money that made it possible for you to buy it. Shh, Tilly, don't. Where's my letter?
What letter? Why should there be a letter for you?
Nancy told me there was one.
But you've been through them yourself, dear. You see, they're all addressed to me. It's 7:45, Bella. Bella, my watch. My watch has gone.
Must have forgotten it.
Have a look at your bag. Wear the cameo brooch I gave you when we got engaged.
I will. My brooch, please, Nancy. It's not here, Mum. Perhaps I left it in another dredge.
What about the brooch?
It's upstairs in my room.
More lies.
It is. It must be. It's only mislaid, Paul. My brooch. And it's true. You did hide my things. You laid traps for me and said that I lied to you.
The rubies.
And that's what Donald Trump does. He's the leading purveyor of fake news in my view. But Fox News is doing a pretty good job too.